And I think the next video will show, I'll bring you back to the front side of our tower. So that's Pepperland. Paul, you want to tell them what kind of peppers we have?
Oh yes, we have some Mexibelle, and we have jalapeños as well.
Yep.
And bell peppers too.
And the poblano.
And poblanos as well, yes.
Did we mention that we really love peppers here? So we'll do another video on the pepper production, how we got them ready, cleaned the seeds, how we put them in, and also the staking system that we used in the tower garden, a little bamboo skewer system. Well, anybody who knows us here at GrowStrong knows that we're pretty fond of peppers, especially Paul. He likes hot peppers a lot.
Yay.
And this season we found a new kind of hot pepper that we haven't grown before. It's called a Mexibelle. So it's kind of, from what it looks like, a cross between a regular bell pepper and a hot pepper. So we're going to try that. This guy's actually a double, and Paul and I were just discussing if we think we should prune it down to the strongest one or be brave and just go for it, and we've decided we're going to be brave and just grow for it. We actually managed to grow about a 5-foot tall poblano plant indoors without a growing support, so we figure if we could do that, we could do anything. So just for the fun of it, we're going to go ahead and leave these two together, especially because since it's an established plant, as you guys saw with the cucumbers, it's not that easy to separate them without them getting mad at you. I did actually damage one of the cucumbers, so I'm going to do this as gently as possible, and I'm going to plan to keep them together. So I'm coming out with the dirt, and I'm going to just start my gentle dunking and gentle kneading of the roots. My goal is to hold those two trunks together so that they stay established the way they are. I'm just kind of shaking the dirt loose. I'm already almost there, almost there. I get as far as I can in the dirty water, and then I move over to the cleaner water. For what it's worth, we find we have to change the water almost after every plant. This time we cheated. I did not change it after the cucumbers. But look how much I got already. We're in pretty good shape. So now I'm going to come over to the cleaner water. If you can just maybe angle in there, Paul, I don't know if you can see. I'm just dipping and shaking a little to get the last little pieces of perlite and maybe, chunks of some of the growing medium in there. Usually when you have pre-potted plants, it's not all soil. They'll have a little bit of peat mixed in, and some of this looks like it's a little bit chunks of some mulch. So we just want to get those larger pieces off. And that's looking pretty good. One last quick little rinse. I'm laughing at myself because some of the dirt that I rinsed off, I just got back on the plant. So, by the way, it's not the end of the world if you just trim a piece of root. Most of us who are seasoned gardeners know it helps if you periodically trim your roots anyways, for two reasons. It keeps them from growing down and clogging your pump, and also you don't want all your energy going into root production when the goal is foliage and fruit. So we'll tend to pull ours several times a season and trim the roots. This one is looking really good. I believe, I don't know, Paul, what do you think? Is this one, do you think we should go through the bottom of the net pot? I think this is probably enough that we can wrap.
Maybe,
I
yeah.
don't want to go through the bottom of the net pot because I have a feeling this is going to have a lot of heavy peppers on it.
I agree with you, yeah.
So my goal is to get the roots and the stems in the middle. The stem is right where the soil line was, is the top of the rock wool cube. I'm going to try to keep that as centered as possible. Grab myself my rubber band here and start doing my voodoo rubber band magic. I'm getting better at this. I think I can get this one on my own, maybe. Yes, she does it. So, now I have a beautiful pepper plant. It has blossoms on it, so I'm excited about that. Because blossoms mean peppers. I've got roots coming out the sides and the bottom. We have determined that for our peppers, we're going to go to the third row up because the tomatoes are going to be pretty big. So we want to give them a little bit more room. We're going to plant smaller plants behind the tomatoes. So right now I'm going to skip a row, and I'm going up to the third tier. And since this one is new to us, something we haven't grown before, Paul and I have decided we'd like to place this one towards the front of the garden, just because it'll be fun for us to see something new. So here's our first tier, our second tier, our third tier. This one will go to the front. And I'm just going to tuck those roots gently in the net pot, poke the rock wool in, and eventually what we do to hold our pepper plants in place is we take a little wooden bamboo skewer like you'd use for barbecuing, and we tuck one of them in front as a prop for the plant. We don't need to do that yet because they're not big enough. I am going to trim this one leaf. This is a seed leaf. The seed leaves are the first leaves the plant gets, and they're usually round, not the traditional shape. And they're also usually the first ones to start getting yellow and decomposing. So there's no problem to leave them on if they're still healthy. But if they're already yellow and starting to get, kind of natty, it's good to remove them. You don't ever want to leave dying growth on your plants, because dying growth is an entry port for disease. And it's also bugs like them. So this guy looks pretty good. We will probably use a bamboo skewer to prop that real soon. So that's our first pepper. So we'll give it a break. We do have 2 more peppers to do. We'll go ahead and do those, and then we'll just show you once we have them in. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. I've just gotten a poblano ready. I've got it inside a rock wool cube. It's rubber banded together, and the roots have just been kind of gently wrapped around. And the side that has the most roots is going to go towards the inside of the net pot, towards the water. And I'm going to put that on the third tier on this side. So I'm just going to very gently tuck that down in, being careful to ease those roots in without damaging them. And voila! Now we have a poblano pepper. So that one's the Mexibelle, a cross between a bell pepper and a hot pepper. These are poblanos. They're like a medium. They're milder than jalapeños. And then we're going to have sweet red bell on the other side. Back in a minute. So here's the last pepper that we're planting. This one is just a red sweet bell pepper. I don't know why I say just, because they're like my favorite peppers on earth, but I mean it's not a hot pepper. So I have, again, cleaned the soil off. I have the roots hanging out the bottom. These are small enough that I feel I can fit them in a net pot. And I've got it rubber banded together inside the rock wool cube, and I'm just going to put it on our third quart. Tuck her in. Once it's in there, it's going to be good. Each of these pepper plants, as I mentioned, we will support with a little bamboo skewer that we stick in there. It keeps it from leaning too far this way and helps it stand upright. And it keeps their, from being less likelihood that any of the branches, once they start to get fruit on them, might break. And it's just a little trick that we found. We just stick it straight in front, right through the net pot. And it just stays. So we've got 3 peppers in, and at this point what we need to do is we're going to spread around 3 herbs, and we've kind of tried to space them around so that we'll have green at various locations of the tower, and then all these beautiful edible marigolds are going to fill in between. We already gave one of them up and put it in the front garden down here in our perennial herb garden, because we changed our mind and added an extra jalapeno pepper that we weren't going to grow, and we were like, yeah, we can never have too many peppers.